Hello there, and welcome to another news. I'm Matt Margolis.
And I'm Lauren Weldon. We are Margolis Weldon. We're an estate planning and elder law firm in Park Ridge that help people protect what they value most.
And today we are here with, lucky to be here with a really good friend of mine, Mo Dadkhah. Mo was born and raised in the northern suburbs of Chicago, where he's moved back after living in Chicago for 11 years. He's moved back to the suburbs, and he is my neighbor. So that's amazing. He attended both college and law school in Chicago, law school at John Marshall with both Lauren and I. He's a broker owner at Main Street Real Estate Group and the principal attorney and owner of Dadkhah Law Group. Mo's favorite quote is, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." He previously was a host of WGN's Market Overdrive, hosted the podcast AE Wheelhouse, has been a Chicago Agent Magazine Who's Who in Chicago real estate for 6 years in a row, a Chicago Association of Realtors top producing realtor, named a top 50 attorney, and a Michigan Avenue magazine power player. He sure knows how to make me feel small. Recently, Mo has been featured in a TV show called The Drive Within, which is pretty amazing. It's on Motor Trend TV, and it's allowed Mo to really share his passion for auto racing with the world. So without further ado, Mo, nice to have you here today.
Thanks, buddy. That was quite an intro.
Well, you deserve it. And there's a lot more we could say, but that made me feel bad enough about myself. So I think we'll just get right in. I think Lauren's got a question for you.
Shoot.
I do. I have a couple. Before I get started, though, I just wanted to mention that, of course, to our viewership, the goal of this whole interview is to share information with you on topics that we feel are timely and relevant. And given Mo's TV appearance, we decided that he would be an excellent person to interview. So how do you balance owning a real estate brokerage and a law firm?
So the balance, I think, really for me comes from the quote that Matt just gave everybody. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I take everything I do company-wise, and I break them down into small goals, weekly goals. So I call it winning the week. So I'll take my annual goal, break it down into what I have to do every week to hit those goals. And if I win as many weeks as possible throughout the year, hopefully I've had a successful year. The easiest way to equate that to anything is like fitness, weight loss. If I told you guys I had to lose 50 pounds this year, you'd say, well, that's a pretty big weight loss goal. If I said I had to lose a pound this week, you'd say, okay, Mo, don't have tacos again and again and again this week. Maybe go for a run. You lose a pound a week for 52 weeks is 52 pounds. So I'm really crazy about setting my goals, breaking them down, and then time blocking. So if I have half a day to work on law versus real estate, I'm focused on law. If the next half of the day is focused on real estate, I'm only focused on real estate. So I'm very good, I think, at time blocking, and then making sure that my goals are visible week in and week out. And not really try to look at macro goals, instead just really look at my micro goals, because small wins over and over again end up to larger successes.
It's amazing.
And I don't that much. So I work and then I race. I'm not wearing this just to be cool. I'm actually at a racetrack. So when I'm not working, I go racing, and I'm in like 20 minutes going to jump in a racing car.
Yeah, I don't know how you have time for everything that you do, frankly. Not just balancing the real estate brokerage and the law firm, but you're racing. I know at one point you were doing some jujitsu training and matches. Never ceases to amaze me how much you have going on, frankly. Somehow I seem overwhelmed with my life that doesn't have all that going on. So, Mo, I think I have an idea of this, but what prompted you into racing? And then how did you get to the point of being on a reality show? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the reality show was nuts. Never really expected that to happen. But originally, my dad was a big car guy, and he got into auto racing when I was probably 12. And I used to follow my dad from track to track, check his tire pressures, take his lap times, and really enjoy just spending time with him at the racetrack. Shortly thereafter, I started driving some go-karts, ended up being not a bad go-kart racer. And as soon as I was able to get a driver's license up into sports cars, I started racing sports cars, thanks to my dad for giving me those opportunities. And then when I was 18 or so, the cost to drive a full season of what would have been an open wheel series like Formula Mazda, that's entry level open wheel racing, was about $250,000 a year. My dad's like, well, I don't have $250,000 to give you, so go to college, then figure out what you're going to do with life, and I'll help you through that stuff, and then come back to racing. So going to college and law school, Matt, we went to law school together. I didn't do a lot of racing. Maybe I would do one a year for a friend. Somebody would let me drive their car. An old student would let me race with them. So I kind of stepped away from racing to be able to then, get through school, build businesses that would allow me to go back to racing. And then probably, 6 or 7 years ago, I got back into it a little more full time. And then the last couple of years really had a full season. Was lucky enough to join the Round 3 racing guys and girls. And last year we got wind that we might be on a reality TV show on Motor Trend TV. And it went from a maybe to, you're going to be on TV in really 2 months. And that experience was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Being on a reality TV show was kind of strange. You're mic'd up all day. Everything you say in the car, out of the car is recorded. I went into it thinking just be your authentic self, and then everything else will work itself out. And the experience has been pretty cool. They're not with us today, and it feels like racing shouldn't be without a reality TV show anymore. We've been laughing. We're like, if a season 2 doesn't happen, what are we going to do with ourselves? We feel like we should be racing celebrities now, but it was a wild ride, and hopefully there's more opportunities on the racing front for me in the next couple seasons.
Yeah, well, you being on a reality show doesn't surprise me at all. To be honest, I've always thought that you'd probably be on one of those real estate reality shows, and I'm not saying you won't be. But I'll turn over to Lauren. I think Lauren might have one more question for you before we let you go.
I do. So one of my favorite things about having hobbies is that hobbies kind of give you some ways to learn things about the world that maybe your work or family life just can't. So what experiences would you say that you've learned from racing that you can then take and use in your work life, family life, anything like that?
I think in racing, the two things that really work well to equating to life or even to business is you have to be really patient and you got to have a lot of focus. So I love that in auto racing, every time I get into a car, I get better. There's really no ceiling to your success in auto racing. And I think if you look at life in general and you look at like a Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos, you may never want to be as, work hungry as they are, or even need to be as wealthy as they are. But there's a really high level of success out there that somebody can achieve. And in auto racing, every time I get in the car, my patience and focus is really on the task at hand and to get better. And I think every time I get in, I have an opportunity to do that. And if you're not patient in a race car, as crazy as it is with everything going on, you're going 160 miles an hour, there's cars around you, you have to make corners, and sometimes it's raining and there's a lot of elements. But you have to have a lot of patience. Obviously, focus is there because you have to make sure you're not crashing or doing something you shouldn't be doing in a car, but you have to be patient in a race car. And I feel like with life and business, whether it's your family life or it's your work life, you got to have a lot of patience. You got to have a lot of focus, and you can do a little bit better every single day in your home life or your business. And I feel like there's just no ceiling to getting better in the sport. And that for me kind of drives me every time I get in. When I get in this next time, I'm at a track I've never been to before. Our car got a lot of changes done to it. So I'm going to get out there and try to be very focused. Before getting on with you guys, I was watching video of, the racetrack. I was watching video of other people driving just to try to take in as much information as I can. And I've been doing this for it's crazy, almost 25 years, from go-karting to, getting in the car today. And I'm still learning a ton every single time. And I think if you're a business owner or, you equate it to family life, if you don't focus on bettering yourself and you think, you're great at something, that's when you start to progress backwards, not forwards.
Good advice.
Yeah, really good advice. And I think people can really apply that to anybody can apply that to their life. And I think even with focus aside, I think just the idea of, you mentioning, patience, I think everybody can benefit from having a little more patience, and being conscious of, how patient or impatient they are at times, whether it's with a coworker, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's with your kids. Really, it's nice to hear that. And that doesn't surprise me. I know you do a lot of self-learning and a lot of betterment for yourself. And so, none of what you're saying surprises me at all. And I'm glad that you found a way to apply it to the racetrack. Well, listen, Mo, we know that you've got to get out there and tear up that course, and we know you will. But we really wanted to thank you for taking the time, and appreciate you putting on the costume for everybody. But no, seriously, it's been a pleasure. Obviously, not just as a friend, but as a colleague, and somebody that's seen you grow a lot over the course of your career. And there's plenty more to see from you. So, thanks again. Good luck this weekend. We hope that all of our viewers found this extremely beneficial and interesting. And we look forward to seeing you next time for some other news.